There's no mistaking the fact that rural voters overwhelmingly are going to support Donald Trump. The new polls kind of show it. And, you know, 4 years ago, cattle rancher J.D. Hill, and this is uh, an article in today's USA Today. Going to just touch base for a couple minutes. Phone lines are open as always at 844-967-2789. Many of the listeners to this show and Civic Media are rural um, people. And so they who tend to lean towards voting for Donald Trump. And many say that they are voting for Donald Trump because the Democrats and Joe Biden have basically forgotten them and their plight and what is going on with them in their communities. And so I want to open the phone lines to you. 844-967-2789. And I know things are rough in smaller rural towns, as they've always been, when you don't have, you know, communities and the types of businesses and other things that metropolitan areas have. That's always been the case. It always will be the case. But I'd like to know what you think President Biden is not doing to support your area that somehow Donald Trump is going to do. Let's not forget, Donald Trump was the president 4 years ago, 8 years ago. No, 4 years ago, prior to, Joe Biden. And the plight of rural, areas in this country didn't just get the way they are in the last 4 years. It's been going on for a couple decades now. So, I would love to hear the views of rural Wisconsin right now to what Donald Trump did for rural Wisconsin when he was president of the United States, and what it is that you've heard him say that he's going to do for you this time around. Phone lines are open. 844-967-2789. I haven't heard one thing that Donald Trump has said he's going to do. I know that rural areas of the state and across the nation are concerned about food costs, inflation, interest, the same thing that people who live in urban centers are concerned about. That's exactly, we have the same issues. But I just don't know what Donald Trump is going to do differently for rural areas than he did the first time around, which is nothing that you can point at. And if I'm incorrect, 844-967-2789, correct me. Or why, or what Joe Biden hasn't done. And so to say that our answer is we're going to put Donald Trump in office because Donald Trump feels our pain, he understands what's happening in rural America, which I totally disagree. How much time has Donald Trump spent in rural America? Not much. But what is it? There must be something that you see in rural America that makes you believe that Donald Trump is the guy who's going to change your plight. 844-967-2789. 4 years before we go to the phone lines, 4 years ago, cattle rancher J.D. Hill bucked his family's Democratic tradition and voted for Donald Trump, now a registered Republican. He's going to do it again this year. It's not that Hill, a resident of Greensville, Kentucky, loves the New York real estate mogul and all he stands for. He's well aware of Trump's legal problems, and I don't like his rhetoric. But Hill 57 believes that Democrats and Biden in particular simply haven't paid enough attention to communities like his. I'm a huge Trump fan. I'm a huge Trump fan, but I just haven't seen the country go in the right direction under Joe Biden, said Hill, whose town in Muhlenberg County has a population of 31,000. Personally, I don't think Biden is in touch with rural America. This is what I hear. This is what we hear, that Biden and the Democrats aren't in touch with rural America. Is Donald Trump in touch with rural America? And if he is, can you give us some rationale, some rhyme or reason how and what Donald Trump has done to improve the plight of rural America? 844-967-2789. Let's go to Cindy from Appleton. Good morning to you, Cindy. How you doing?
No, I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I think what it is the fact that the rural Americans are into getting tax credits, agricultural credits, and all the tax givebacks that the Republicans do, and namely Trump, who supported the rich people big time with his last tax giveaway. And a lot of the farmers are rich, so all I can say is, to me, that's got to be what it is, because other than that, I don't see anything that Donald Trump has done for rural America. I don't see anything he's done for anybody other than the rich people. So I'm like you, Earl. I don't get it. I would sure like some of these people to call in and tell us why they think Donald Trump is so good for the country.
Well,
Because he is not.
You made a statement that a lot of farmers are rich, and I I don't think that there are many farmers who are well off, and because they are really up against it with the increased costs of operating their farms, the fact that they're up against corporate farms, which cuts into whatever it is they are doing, and the fact that Donald Trump is not one that, as far as I've heard, who has done anything to push back on corporate farms. Yeah, he certainly is not. He is a guy who hasn't mentioned those things whatsoever. But here's a response by a guy on the text line. I was hanging out in Hurley this weekend, and it seemed like people were just turned off by gun regulations and issues like gender, just speaking a different language on those issues. Maybe that's what it is. You know what I mean, Cindy? Maybe it's those gender issues that I really don't understand why there's so much concern about gender issues. Not my business. And why, they seem to be on the top of the list of the things that we're talking about in this country. With all the other things to deal with, the fact that we're talking about gender issues and, and guns, you know, I think there are more things and more important than that. Cindy, thank you very much for the call as always. Hey, Stephen from Green Bay, your thoughts?
Good morning, Earl. How are you doing
Good
today?
morning. What is it that we're talking about?
To be honest with you, I don't think farmers are rich either. In fact, many farmers are struggling to, put food on the table themselves. But with that being said, I think a lot of it is, Donald Trump puts out the narrative that he's for people in rural America. And I don't know that Biden has done enough of that and really, spoke his message about what he will do. for people in rural America, and I think he needs to. And as far as the farmers go, a lot of them are busy, and they don't necessarily have time to sit hours and hours and do research on things. And so, if you have a candidate that keeps telling you over and over again that he's going to do something for you, I think that attracts a lot of people out in the rural areas of America.
Well, Stephen, let me ask you because the proof is always in the pudding. So Donald Trump can say what he's going to do for rural America. My question is, what did he do for them 4 years ago?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, so if he did nothing for them 4 years ago, and we know that to be true, again, what is it to say that that Joe Biden has done nothing for rural America, and they're fed up with the fact that Joe Biden and Democrats have done nothing for them? My phone lines are open at 844-967-2789. I'm really interested in what it is. I don't know people in rural America. I live in an urban center. And I would just love to hear, you know, your views on why you think this man is somehow going to be the savior for you when he didn't do anything 4 years ago. 844-967-2789. You're tuned into the Earl English Show. He'll be right back.